Well, to the story now. Next month is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and a non-profit organization, Rainbows and Smiles, is calling on all of you fitness buffs to lace up and get active. Well, its 30-day running challenge attracted many participants during the COVID-19 lockdown last year. Club runs become more colorful and even more meaningful. So in studio this morning is Rainbows and Smiles founder Bonnie Suckling, as well as a member, Nadia Lewis. Thank you so much, ladies, for your time this morning, and a very good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Perhaps, Bonnie, we should talk a little bit about the importance of even raising awareness around childhood cancer. I think that a lot of times what we tend to do is we become very insular in the information, right? And we don't necessarily take it out to the public to actually understand that it can happen to anybody's child. It's not just removed, right? Just talk to us a little bit about the significance of even highlighting awareness around childhood cancer.
So, Faith, Nadia and I both have a personal story with regards to childhood cancer. My son died from an anaplastic astrocytoma, which is really just a fancy name for a brain tumor. Sure. And Nadia's son was...
he had an alveolar rhabdomyosarcoma, which derived from tissue in between his rib muscles, and it was stage 4, and he died a year later.
Sure.
He was only 3 years old, and he died 3 days before his 4th birthday.
Oh, my condolences, ladies.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So before that happened, we both had healthy little boys. And for us, raising awareness and creating early detection can literally save the life of a child.
Yeah, and you've come up with this initiative, Nadia, to be able to even speak to raising awareness. But what I love about it is that it's even a fun way of being able to raise the awareness. Talk to us a little bit about Rainbows and Smiles.
So Rainbows and Smiles was founded in 2011 by Bonnie and some friends, and it was all aimed around the giving of gifts. Bon's son loved giving gifts, and he would be gifted something and he's like, oh, I've already got one. I'm going to, Mommy, let's give this to Etienne in the hospital. So that is how Rainbows was founded, and we've grown since then by, raising funds to assist with transport, sadly funerals, basic needs, food, clothing, utility bills, transport, and so on.
Yeah, I love the tag of running for a reason.
Me too.
Yeah, because it actually puts purpose and meaning behind it. Let's talk a little bit about the run itself.
Okay, awesome. So it's a superhero run, and it's run for a reason. We wanted people to get healthy and fit and get out there. So Run for a Reason was actually Jed's oncologist's idea. So one day we were brainstorming, and we were like, we really need to come up with, new, exciting ways to raise funds. And we brainstormed, and we came up with this idea of Run for a Reason. So basically, you don't have to run. You can swim, you can crawl, you can hop, you can do whatever it is, but you have to get moving. Each day, we will send you the story of a survivor, and we ask that you write the survivor's name on your hand and you read their story. The stories are often very emotive, and it actually gives, the outside general public a view into what it's like to actually go through the childhood cancer journey. So you write the child's name on your hand, you put it on social media, you take a photo, and obviously that creates awareness in itself. Faith, what I found very interesting this year is that last year we asked who was your superhero, and we had a lot of Batman and Superman and that kind of thing. And this year, a couple of the stories, one of the girls wrote that her superhero was her sister, because her sister gave up her career. Her sister gave up everything so that she could be with her through the cancer journey. Another little boy's superhero was his dad, because they would hold hands and the superpowers would go through each other's arms, and he would get his dad's superpower to be able to endure the cancer treatment that he was going through. Naz, have I left anything?
I actually want to speak about this and labor on this point around funds, because when you're going through this journey as parents, as a support system, funds are at stake, right? Medical aid does not always cover all the aspects of the funds that are involved and the money that is involved in looking after a child with cancer. Let's just speak a little bit and touch base about just what are some of the realities that families out there are facing when it comes to even going through the journey and the money depletion aspect of this.
So Faith, if I think about my own household, myself and my ex, we were a 2-household income, and 24 hours later, I was my son's nurse, I was his carer, I was his school teacher. I couldn't hold a job. The most expensive thing in our household was the fact that our income was cut in half.
Sure.
But we're coming from a privileged background.
We were both treated in private care, so we were very fortunate. The families we deal with do not have medical aid, so they do not. They can't just hop into their car and rush off to the hospital like we could when we felt something wasn't right. So it is very difficult for the families. We've come across child-headed households where the head of the household is 16, 17 years old, and he gets diagnosed with cancer. So now he can't look after his siblings because he's going through cancer treatment.
Never mind having a job.
Exactly,
right?
And we have single mommies who needs to decide, do they go to hospital and be with their sick child, or do they go to work and feed the other 2 children at home? The reality of childhood cancer and the finances behind that is diabolical.
Yeah, you know, as you're speaking about the mommies and the child-headed household, I also wonder, Bonnie, about the support system and the community of support, because I really do believe that sometimes the journey of cancer is a very lonely journey. And it's exceptionally lonely for the families that are involved, and it's exceptionally lonely for the child that has to go through this, because I want to be in school, I want to be playing like the other kids. Why is my hair falling out? Why is it that I'm feeling so lethargic? Why is it that why do I have drips? Right? These are all the nuances of cancer that we don't like to speak about, but is so necessary. How do we start becoming deliberate about forming a community of support?
You know what's strange is that when my son was diagnosed, our support system changed. It went technology-wise. We started finding support in support groups on Facebook and that type of thing, because long before COVID, we were living in a COVID world. We were living with masks, we were sanitizing, we were living a sterile environment, and we were isolated already.
We couldn't go out to shops, we couldn't do movies, we couldn't do all the things that we couldn't do now during COVID already back then. So it's,
I think COVID's been quite a hectic trigger for a lot of oncology parents, because they probably sit back and they think, you know, I remember what it was like to be in isolation. And it's lonely. It's a lonely world.
Yeah. Ladies, how do I get involved? I think it's just, you know, I think let's end the loneliness. How does the greater South African space actually become involved in such an initiative? Because your stories are so personal, and they come from a place of passion and heart and care, because you've gone through it, and I think you don't want another mommy or daddy to go through what you've been through.
Absolutely not.
So how does South Africa support you, and how do we become involved?
So for our current events, we would ask that you go to our website and you enter.
You go to www.rainbowsandsmiles-sa.org, and you enter our Run for a Reason event.
And very quickly, before I let you go, what message would you like to give South Africans, or moms and dads that have got a child who's struggling with cancer and they're on this journey once more?
I think I'd like to leave you with the thought that my little boy gave me when he was sick. Every day I would roll over and I'd go, "Hey dude, what do you want to do today?" And he would be like, "Let's build a fort, let's go feed the ducks." And when he was lying and he was at his weakest and he was terminal and he was dying, I did the same thing. I rolled over and I was like, "Hey boy, what should we do today?" And he mouthed the words, "Let's make today the funnest day ever."
Oh, that is so beautiful.
So I think even through our events and through going through this, you know, just to embrace making every day the funnest day ever. And wear your undies on the outside, because we're having fun in September.
I love that. And for you, Nadia, very quickly as we wrap?
I would like to say for the parents out there that you are not alone. We are there. There are so many parents out there and support groups. You just need to find your
kind of like
your clique,
tribe.
your tribe.
Yes, your tribe.
Yeah.
And just never give up.
I love that. Thank you so
Never
much.
give up.
Thank you,
I hope
Faith.
that all South Africans really can get behind this initiative.
I hope everybody
Yeah.
enters our event and everybody gets mobile and moving and yeah.
To get that summer physique.
Summer bodies are made during this time, by the way. Of course, Rainbows and Smiles founder Bonnie Cycling, as well as Nade Lewis, they're giving us their personal account. And make sure that you go onto their website to support this initiative. Keep yourself active, but more than anything else, make sure that you raise awareness, especially when it comes to childhood cancer. You do not know who you might be helping during this community. Well,